Greetings, friends. Mark Anthony K here, and I am here today because after much convincing and prodding from various people, like my friend Vance, I've decided to do a vinyl tag for this year. Which one did I decide to do? Well, I saw one that Vance just did earlier today, I believe it was, which is the 7-inch vinyl tag done by Chris from Rekkid Talk. So I decided that this would be a good one for me to do. It's not too long. I had a lot of the stuff that immediately came to mind when I was looking at the questions, so why not do it? So let's do this, and you know, hopefully you'll find some of my selections interesting. I was very tickled by Vance's as he was very Zeppelin heavy. I tried not to do that with my ones because I'm a big Rush guy and stuff like that, so I could have probably did a lot of them with Rush, but I decided to mix mine up. Anyways, enough with the babbling. Let's get on to it. Number one, show a record that was a number one hit on some chart. Well, it's interesting. I'm going to show two here because Chris from Rekkid Talk showed "Honky Tonk Woman" from the Stones, and he said that he had one. He had a copy, but didn't have a record sleeve for it. But I do. I have "Honky Tonk Woman" here. This is a German pressing of it, and that's the picture disc for it. That is the label that it was on Decca, and it's a German release version of it. But that's not the one that I was going to show initially. I found this one much more humorous. Back in the day, there was a television show, and its theme was a number one hit. I confirmed this. I checked it out. It was number one on the U.S. Billboard, and that's the Miami Vice theme by Jan Hammer. And here's the single on MCA. Both sides actually was the single, same song, both sides. That was a number one hit. Not a big surprise, I suppose. Next, show a record from when you were a teenager. Well, this was pretty simple. So teenager, I was around. That would have been around 86, 87, and stuff like that. So of course, at that time, you have got to show Def Leppard, Armageddon. There's the single for it. I believe this is a U.S. one, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, a U.S. single. There's the single there. Sorry, let me flip it around. On Mercury. And on the B side, they had some. They did some cover, but it was under the different name. It was cover was called "Release Me," and it was done by Stumpus Maximus and the Good Old Boys, which I guess is probably them just under a different name. So that's the Teenage Days single. Let's see what else is here. Just give me 1 second here. The next question was, show a record by your favorite artist or someone at least you like a lot. Well, I just said earlier, my favorite band in the whole world, bar none, and probably the greatest band ever. Sorry, Vance. Rush. Here is Closer to the Heart, single backed with the trees. Now, this is not from the Farewell to Kings studio album release. This is from the Exit Stage Left album. So they're both live singles from the album. This is a German, is it, I believe? No, I think it's actually a British one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's a British single on Mercury. Those silver. It's on that silver sort of center label. With the small hole, as they say. It's not a punch out or anything like that. It's a small hole single. Now, why isn't this going back in properly? Okay, there we go. I'll fix that later. Okay. Next question. Show a record from 2025 or as recent as you can get. Now, initially, I thought I didn't have one, and I was going to show Angry, which was in 2024, I think, or 2023 from the Stones. I did have a 7-inch single of that. But then I realized I do have a single. I got it right on Boxing Day, actually, because I had ordered it earlier in December. And this is by a Canadian artist, a local artist that I know pretty well. He works at a record store I go to sometimes. His name is James Clark. This is his single, Christmas single that he puts out. He puts out a single every year, I think. This is from the James Clark Institute. Orange Christmas, backed with "It's Still Snowing Outside." Yeah, I'm trying to read it. It's all backwards on my screen here. He's like a pop artist, pop rock, hints of Chief Trick and stuff like that. And some Canadian elements in there as well. This is on a colored vinyl here. I'll show that real quick. It's on an orange vinyl. There's the center label. It's nicely done. Sounds good too. Traditional sort of Christmas singles that you would expect from like a rock artist or a pop rock artist at the at this time of at this time in music. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Next up is stupid phone always turns off. That was show record 25. Okay, show a record store day 7-inch. I was gonna show a Zappa one, but the Zappa one I have, which is Peaches and Regalia, is a 10-inch, so wasn't gonna show that. But I have plenty of these ones, and a few of them came out on record store day. And that is David Bowie. He had this fantastic series of picture discs that came out like this. This is a record store day. You can see it right down here. It has the sticker. This is for TVC15, and the back side is Wild as the Wind, the 2010 Harry Maslin mix single edit. On the back side is this image. Now, I don't know what happened. This was a 40th anniversary run of sort of like singles that he did on picture disc. They did it all the way up to Alabama Song. I think was the last one that they put out. I'm very annoyed that they stopped because they started all the way back from Space Oddity and went up to there. And I was hoping they were going to continue with it. I have almost all of them, and they're getting increasingly hard to find, but they've stopped doing them for some reason. Why, I don't know. If anybody knows that, drop a comment in my comment area there. Okay, next one. Show a record that is not a 45 RPM. This is cool. And I was thinking, what do I have that's like that? And then suddenly it dawned on me. Okay, you have to give me a second here because there's a lot of little extra things that come with this single here. And I'll give it a little explanation on this too. Okay, so this is a single by a band called Freeways. They're a band from Georgetown, which is just outside of Brampton here. I know the singer very well, Jacob Montgomery. This band is absolutely fantastic. They are the next generation's Thin Lizzy. A lot of people within the vinyl community, well, a few people in the vinyl community I know of have started picking up on these guys. And why am I sort of glad to talk about them? Well, because on this record, particularly, I mastered this EP for them. And I mastered their other EP. They put out a few other singles. I mastered that as well. I've done quite a few stuff for Jacob, mixing-wise and mastering. And I was very much involved in this. This is a blue vinyl version of this, and it is a 33 RPM there. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. But it is indeed a 33 RPM. On side B, there's just one song, which is New Drag City. Sorry, it's hard for me to see it. And on the other side was One for the Road and Cold Front. Comes in this very nice picture sleeve here. And on the back is the lyrics. Like I said, these guys are very Thin Lizzy meets, April Wine meets, it's kind of that, it's very 70s rock. Let's just put it that way. And I'm just going to put this in here now. I don't want to fiddle with this. I have other questions to answer. It also came with some extra little things to, promote the label that it was on. So I'm just going to put that back in here. And let's move on to the next question. The next question is blah, 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 blah. We're, okay. Show a Northern Soul record or a record from the soul, R&B, or disco genre. I don't have any Northern Soul. Not really sure what Northern Soul is. But I do have record that's considered soul. And I don't think we're going to get much argument about this. Mr. David Bowie put out an album in the mid-70s called Young Americans that was considered his soul record. And the single, of course, Young Americans, right here. I have the single for that, backed with Suffragette City. Now, this is another single series that came out. They completed this. It's called the Lifetime series. They do it with various artists, but as you can see in the back there, those are all the singles that are out on this series. I got about half of them. I'm trying to get the rest of them. They're fantastic. They were printed in the mid-'80s, I believe. They are on this sort of punch out sort of label. Sorry, I have it upside down there. There you go. Yeah, and they sound really really good. They're fantastic singles. I believe it's UK. Is it UK? Let me see. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see in the dark here. Manufactured London. Yeah. Okay. So it is. They are UK versions of the singles. So there's that question answered. And I love Bowie. So as you can tell, there's a lot of singles I have in that collection. Okay, 2 questions left. Show a record from a country that you have never lived in, or at least an artist from a different country. Here's another band that I'm huge on and collect a lot. In fact, I think vinyl-wise, I have the most from this artist, period. I think I have over 300 different albums from this artist, and that's Kiss. Here's the single for Magic Touch, and backed with Save Your Love. That's off Dynasty. I love that album. I know most people don't like that album, but I do. And this is a French pressing. Not sure if you can see that at the bottom. It says "Made in France." It's on the Vogue label for here. It's just a black vinyl on the regular Casablanca Filmworks label. Again, this is a pressing from France, and no, I've never lived in France at all. Great picture discs. Kiss has always been known to have some amazing looking singles that were released in different countries. And man, the variations that you can find of picture discs for Kiss singles is unbelievable. You'll be searching for years. Okay, and the last question, show a bootleg or a counterfeit record or a Beatles record. I don't have a bootleg nor a counterfeit 7-inch, so guess what? I'm going to have to show a Beatles record. And so I figured rather than show, any old one, I figured I'd take one that was pretty interesting, one that's kind of not a grail or anything, but it's one that I'm happy that I got, and I don't find this in the open or in the wild too often, so I thought I'd show Twist and Shout. This is the mono. This is a first Canadian pressing, if you can believe it. I did check this. No, not Canadian. Sorry, I believe this is. I think this is in fact UK. Is it UK? No, it's probably going to be Canadian. I'm not the biggest expert on this stuff. It says here made in Great Britain. So, yeah. So I'm going to guess it is a British one. Doesn't say anything here about Canada. Yeah, so a British pressing. And according to the Discogs information that I thoroughly looked at, it said it is a first press. If it's not a first, then maybe a second version. But it's a very early version that's in surprisingly good condition for how old it is. And that's not important. You just said you wanted to see a Beatles single, and this is it. This is obviously material from the first record. So you have, of course, under Twist and Shout, A Taste of Honey, Do You Want to Know a Secret, and There's a Place. So there you go. There are all the questions answered. Yeah, I think now that I've done this one, maybe I'll get the feel to do another one, or I'll be motivated to do another one. What one I'll do next, I don't know. There's an Iron Maiden one. I'm kind of eyeing the Prague one. I think I might do that one next. So thank you again thank you to Chris from Rekkid Talk for making the tag here. I'm not sure how you make tags anyways, but I'll leave a note on your channel letting you know that I did it. And thanks to Vance as well as Zep Pearl for giving me the motivation to do it as well. And I'll see you guys all later. Bye for now.